I hope I'm visible. And yes, right now we are also live on YouTube. We have a few viewers on YouTube, and this will be saved on SARSTEM's YouTube channel later on, so you can go and rewatch it as well. So yeah. Okay, so I'll begin. Just a second. Can someone confirm if my screen is visible?
Yes, I can see you.
Yes, it's visible.
Yes, it one.
Okay, awesome. So basically, I'll first tell you about the picture you might have seen just a few seconds ago. This right here. So this is an application if you are interested in research for summer research projects, and this is organized by the same organization as that has organized this workshop, SARSTEM, and the details will be available if you can see it right here. The description is right here of all the three workshops. So today's workshop we'll be discussing a little bit about LaTeX, the basics, and also how do you make assignments on LaTeX to, like it can have a really great impact on your professor, and he might like get you to research with him as well. And the second one will be about Overleaf research papers and research projects. This will be a sort of main lecture, like main workshop, and it'll be around an hour to an hour 15 minutes long. And lastly, we have also added a topic of research CV. How do you build a research CV or any CV in general using hyperlinks and things like that? And also assignment presentation, which I'll come to later, and a few other shortcuts. And right here, you'll be able to see the basically the summary of SASTEM research program, which includes both a sort of an opportunity to work on some research projects, and also on workshops. Like you'll learn a lot about research via these workshops. Such like, for example, we are holding this workshop which is based on research writing. We'll hold many other workshops on various topics in the program as well. And since all of you are attending the meeting, you can enter this code LaTeX Workshop 3 for getting at least 75% scholarship into the program. And that's about it. And there are a few attachments as well, which I'll come to later after I finish the workshop, basically. All right, so let us first start here, right? So this is basically LaTeX, yeah. So before I start, let me give you a sort of motivation for it, why I use LaTeX. So I'll hit you with the punchline right now. LaTeX is boring, like really boring, but like, so why should you learn it, right? So like when something is so boring yet it has a lot of applications in a particular field, it should really tell you the importance of it, right? So although it is boring, it is very, very, very useful in research, and I'm pretty sure some of you are interested in research, so this will help you a lot. And so yeah, let me first show you a few documents, right? Examples of LaTeX documents. So as you can see, X naught, right, looks pretty clear, everything's fine. Now if I zoom out, you'll see it's actually this small compared to an A4 size paper, right? So the first benefit is really, really good clarity in LaTeX, right? And it doesn't use a lot of memory either, and it just saves it in a really smart way. And the main use is for writing books, research papers, project reports, and things like that. And also writing equations, right? If I go to, let's say, Microsoft Word, and like for example, I want to enter an equation, so we have buttons over there, like for example a button for superscript, a button for subscript, but then it's a really inconvenient way, right? Like I have to write X and then press a button for superscript and then 3 and then come back and minus. It's really hectic. So there's a sort of like way to code equations, you can say. So why it is boring, it doesn't have any like logic in the sense that other coding programs have, right? Like okay, loops and things like that. It doesn't have that. It's just a syntax used to get a printed output, that's it. But it is very useful, as I said before. And then we can take another example as well. There's just a basic template from Overleaf, which we'll go to in the next workshop. So as you can see, we have a single column, we have two columns, blind text and things like that. It's very customizable. And we also have links. We just click and we go to links. That's it. So it's another sort of use of it. So let's sort of start with the basics, right? So if I have here, I have a txt file here which is shared in the meet itself. So if I go here, let's start with the basics. How do we download it, right? You don't have to download a single thing, but two things instead. So first obviously would be the sort of environment, right? So I can go right here and paste it. I use something called Text Studio. There are many other alternatives, but I find this the most convenient. So you can go to this link. The txt file will be shared with you soon. You can go to this link and basically just download it. And you also need to download another thing that's called a package manager or package installer. My package installer is MikeTeX. So if you go right here, you can download this as well, right? For Windows, Mac, whatever you're using. And so the sort of purpose of MikeTeX is packages. As you can see here, use package, graphics, CX, and things like that. And so basically, just like let's say C++, include some of you might know include stdio.h, right? So it's a sort of package or a library, right, which sort of saves commands. So let's say I have use package graphicx. So this has all the known commands for images and other graphic files. So basically, if I want to add an image or anything like that, I first need to include this package. Otherwise, I will not be able to add an image in my LaTeX document. And there's fancy header, last page, and things like that, which I'll explain soon. Okay, so let's start with this. This is a very basic sort of format. Okay, and by the way, this percentage sign is for column. And if you want to enter an actual percentage sign, you have to use the backslash and then use percentage. That will basically result in an actual percentage being put into the document. Okay, so the first thing, document type or document class, you can say. So basically there are mainly of three types: articles such as this one, books, and also reports. Books and reports are of longer format, but we'll go with the shortest one for this particular workshop. Books and reports will be discussed in the next workshop using Overleaf, which is a much more convenient way, much more convenient LaTeX version, you can say. Alright, so using commas you separate different elements, and what you can decide here is the default text font size. Then you can decide the paper, A5, A4, things like that. And you can also decide by default, is it a one column document or a two column such as this one, right? Right here. But you can change it as I'll show later. So if for example, I remove this
Are you
entire,
using R right now on this? Is this
sorry,
R? Is this R Studio?
no. It's a separate thing. It's for LaTeX on its own. It's a closed sort of bubble, right? It's
Okay,
not,
so this code is for this code which I can see in the screen. This is the LaTeX Studio.
yeah.
Okay.
It's a LaTeX code. It can be used with any sort of LaTeX platform, Text Studio or any other alternative. The code remains same for LaTeX. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And okay, so if I remove it and let me just run it, this is the run button, and as you see, the format has sort of changed, right? That is because this is the default. The font size is 10, paper is A4, and one column. And if we go below, right here, the use package geometry. Now geometry is another package. Right here I've used landscape. So if I remove it, obviously for any document the default is portrait, right? So we get a portrait right here. But if you want landscape, you have to specially enter it. Let's just remove it for now. Alright, so after document class, what you have to do is sort of just like C++ or anything else, like you initialize the packages first, the libraries which you will be potentially using in the future, right? So packages, and I have used these packages which I'll explain one by one as I move into the document. So let me first describe use package geometry. So geometry, as you like by intuition, like it's used to describe the sort of dimensions of your LaTeX document. So this is sort of margin, right? So left is 0.7 inches. Let's say I make it twice, 1.4. So it just shifted, right? So that's basically how it works. You have left, right, top, and bottom, and you can enter it by point or by inches, like any sort of metric. So let me just go back. Yeah. Now the third thing you would want to do, obviously, like oftentimes, like the chances are you will want to include images in your LaTeX profile, LaTeX document as well. So you do that using the graphics path function sort of. And what you do is you write your address basically. You can go to your Windows Explorer.
Okay, so I have a doubt. I have a doubt. The code which I can see in my screen, does this code come from before, and we just have to edit the preferences here, or do we have to write the whole code?
You have to write the whole code. You have to write the whole code.
Yes, so yeah, for like beginners, for like me, this would be very difficult because I wouldn't know how to write the whole code.
Yeah, like that's why like I'll come to it later. Like I have a lot of cheat sheets and things like that organized for you guys already in a TXT document which I'll be sharing. And yeah, that's what I was going to come later, like sort of like learning smart rather than like spending a lot of time on it. But I'll come to it. Like you'll get to know soon.
And would you be providing the links for downloading these like
Yes.
text studio and other things?
All like for workshop one, we have all these links which I'll be sharing with you guys at the end of the meeting.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
No. Yeah. So you can go to the Windows Explorer and
Here I have one question.
yeah.
On the text file that is on the right, which says "Hello World,"
Okay.
the text that is there is on the left side and it is smaller. So how do you make it bigger? Like the
Uh,
whole, because it in the code it says 0.7 from the right.
yeah.
It is like there is a full big column on the right.
No, this is not for the font size, but this is for the margin of the page, basically. So yeah, but
So
fonts,
it's a,
yeah, go
so
on.
on the right side, the text is on the left of the page.
Okay, yeah, that's because right now we have a like I'll show you like right here. I'll talk about columns over here, and you'll get to know why it's just one-sided instead of like covering the whole sort of page. I'll come to it soon. And so yeah, like as I was saying, graphics path. You can go to the Windows Explorer, copy the address and just paste it over here. Now one note I would like to say is like this is something like took me a couple of minutes to figure out, but for example when you change your device, right, like let's say I had a laptop, like another laptop before, and over there like the let's say this was the sort of address, right, it is case sensitive, so this was the address. So now if I transfer all my LaTeX files, I'll have to update this, otherwise it'll show an error. Like let me just try it. Okay, I don't have an image. I'll show it with the other document, but it matters a lot, like case sensitive, and just change it if you change your device as well. Just heads up. All right, now header and footer. My sort of default header footer you can say is this right here, like two lines, header and footer, and each has a left, central, and right element to it, and each you can define basically. So for that, as you'll see, package, we'll need a package fancy HDR. That is the package we need for the heading and footer, headers and footers. Now, page style fancy. You have to put this command as well for the LaTeX document to have it. Now, the command for each element, like it's very intuitive. L head, left head, C head, center head, right head, left foot, center foot, and so on, basically. And these are sort of parentheses that you have to use, these curly brackets you have to use for each element. So let's say left head, right, this right here. Okay, I hope you can see my cursor. So it's written backslash today, so it's a sort of function you can say which updates the date. But let's say like I want to put a previous date, so I can manually type it as well, May 20 2021, and if I run it, it should change. Right here it has changed to 20. So either I can have a custom date, or if I want to keep having it like updated till I submit it to a professor or anything like that, I can just use backslash today basically. Now C head, LaTeX workshop, R head, I remember my name, and foot, L foot, C foot, R foot. We have Xminds, page 1 of 3, and SARSTEM. So let me just focus a little on page 1 of 3, because again we'll have to use a package, because like you can either for each page, like as this 3 pages is not is convenient, but when you're working with longer documents, let's say like 20 pages, 25 pages, you don't want to go to each page and like write a custom like 1 of 3, 1 of 4, and things like that, right? So you have to sort of automate it. So what you can do is first add the package last page, and this package helps you use the last page page ref last page, this function. So as you can see, I have not written 1 anywhere, I have not written 3 anywhere, but it's written over here. So page slash backslash the page basically notes the page number of this particular page. This is the first page, so obviously 1, and then h space is horizontal space and v space is vertical space. So over here I've just put a horizontal space of 0.01 centimeter just to make it sort of even, and off, and then backslash page ref and last page, and right here it's 3 pages. So LaTeX has automatically calculated, okay, how many pages are there? 3. So I'll just put 3 over here. So 2 of 3, 3 of 3, and just continues. It's automated basically. And right here we don't really need this command right here. I'll show this to you in the next document. I'll be discussing another document as well. I'll be teaching you how you can sort of learn LaTeX by just scanning a document, scanning the code of the document, and that'll come to next. So basically another essential, like although it is not necessary, but people usually do it, is the make title section. And this sort of like backslash title, LaTeX workshop, author Ayan Ahmed, date today, and so then you have to begin the body basically. So you do that by backslash begin document, and then it sort of shows the end document as well. Suppose I type begin. Now I have a lot of options, so it suggests options as well. So I type I just do enter, and what is the environment name? So document for this particular case, and right here, so it has automatically written end document as well, sort of like a loop, right? And I have content in between which I can just fill whatever I want, right? So this is what I have right here, and if I remove the comment, it becomes a function right here, and let me just run it right here. So make title makes use of these 3 functions: title, author, and date, and you just sort of paste it on the top of your document. So as you can see, title, LaTeX workshop, and May 21, 2021, like that. But I usually don't use it. I'll tell you why later. But yeah. So now columns, as I've shown in the second example, this one right here, you can have singular columns right, like this, double columns, things like that. So how do you do it, right? As you'll see here, there are many ways, but if you need more than 2 columns, you will have to use begin multi-column, put a star, and then the number of columns, in this case 3. And if I go up again right here, another package, multi-col, and this package is used again for different columns basically, in this case 3. And so this uses square brackets, just make sure. And now you can have section like hello world, then you can have subsection, then let's just say again hello, and then you can also have subsection hello again right here, and it just enumerates it automatically, 1.1, 1.111, the subset. It just keeps going like that. And suppose I don't want it to be enumerated, right? I just want it to be like a subsection, so I can do this right here. I just have to put a star. The star sort of hides the numerals behind the section or subsection basically, or even subsection, up to your convenience. And blind text, again we have used another package, blind text. So this is sort of not necessary in your actual documents. You won't be putting blind text, but the point of blind text is to put random text. For example, I'm doing a demo for you guys, right, in LaTeX. So that's why, like, I don't want to like sit and like curate what do I write or just copy paste. I just want random text. I just want to show how it fills the page, right? So I can just do backslash blind text, and it just enters the the usual whatever you see is the default on Word documents and stuff as well, or Ipsum, things like that, right? Okay. Now once you like start the multi-column, this is also like a for loop. Like everything that you have backslash begin in, it's a sort of for loop, analogous to C++ or things like that, any coding language. So we have to end it. We have to end the sort of loop, or like this is not really a loop, this is a subsection of the code, you can say, a structure, a substructure, which you have to end. And now what I can do is I can change the number of columns mid document. Like I don't, if I say 2 columns first, it's not like the whole document has to be 2 column. I can change it to 1 column and back to 2 again. So what I have to do for that is backslash 1 column, it becomes 1 column, and again I have put blind text, so we get this, it covers the whole page, right? And if I put 2 column again and I put blind text again, then again I'll get 2 columns. Now if I add more blind
And I
text,
think I think this is too advanced for a beginner because they would not be familiar to this to LaTeX. They would want to know how the code is written and how to write the code in a way that it is structured. So you just explaining the edited, the small parts of the
yeah.
things which would help make the document. So I think the beginning perspective would be much better for everybody.
Okay, so what exactly would you like me to explain? I would change it like that. Like because the by default, like this, the basic structure is again document class, use package, graphics path, and header footer, make title, right? This is the basic outline of it. And once you have begin document, and then like there's a lot of function. Let me just show you the, if I can go here. Um, okay, let me just exit this right here. Okay, so as you'll see, this is the sort of cheat sheet. It looks very compact, right? Like there are many functions, and like yeah, it is like really hard to cover all of it, and that's why like I'll be showing the cheat sheet as well, and that's why I'm covering the basic things over here. Like for example, the basic outline. Then I'll be teaching you how to add an image, how to have section, subsection, things like that, and also like tables and things like that. The basic elements, I'll be teaching you how to add the basic elements, and I'll also be teaching you some tricks to learn it as well later on. So yeah, but to like, if like I wouldn't suggest like learning it like function by function, because again like it'll be a really long process. So just learn the main functions that we have, and we can continue later on, right? All right, so this document is, that's it. Now again, now that was a very vague looking document, but this is one of the documents I had made for one of my essays, you can say. So as you see, this looks sort of nice, right? Images and things like that, equations. So now let me just help you learn how to scan this document, scan its code, and learn what is relating to what. So I like, according to me, the best way to learn it is to sort of like compare, right? And once you do that in a repetitive way, like you'll get a hold of it automatically. And so yeah, okay, as I said, like in the last document, I'll come back to this, right? Renew command. So basically, head rule width. This basically changes the width of the header, right? Like if I zoom in right here, for the header and footer, this line was there. Suppose I want to change this width, I want to make it thicker. So it would be backslash renew command and head rule width. And again, you can either change it inch or point, since we don't want the um, thickness to be in inches. Obviously we'll do it in points. Suppose I do 1.6 here, it became much thicker, right? And that's it, that's the use of the width command basically. And over here, as you'll see, I have not used the make title. Now this is when I'll tell you guys why I didn't use the make title, why I don't usually use make title. So the format for make title is very very simple, as I've shown over there. You can't edit it that much, right? So it's better to not use it. Instead, like have write your own, like line by line. Like maybe you'll want to add your university, your department, things like that. So it's better to do it in custom. So as I told last time, the this outline remains the same. Document class, packages, we have more packages depending on the code, but document class, packages, graphics path, heading footer, and there's a separate thing for width if you want to add. Now again, we have the begin document, and right here, if you see on the left hand side, we have a few shortcuts, you can say. This is for bold, italics, underline, left, center, right, enter, mathematical equation, and things like that. So basically, let's say this first line, right? If I just press B right here,
This header and footer, is it being applied to the whole document or this page only?
the whole document. But there are options to sort of remove the header and footer for a single page and have it for all the other pages, which I'll come to later, basically. I'll come to it in the.
And also,
Also,
I had
why
one
are you
doubt.
using a curly bracket somewhere and somewhere you're using large brackets? Is there any significance of that, or
Somewhere we are using curly brackets and somewhere square brackets. That's the question, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So, is there any difference, or we can use them?
Like I assume obviously like even I would like ask that, but then I assume your reason for asking is the logic behind it, right? Why do we have square or why do we have curly syntax? Like you can't really like make that much logic out of these sort of things, right? These are like
No,
fundamental
no,
syntax.
I'm not asking for the syntax.
Okay.
I'm trying to know that is there a specific place where you have to use curly brackets and not the other ones?
Yeah, yeah,
That was a
yeah. That again comes to the syntax. Like you wouldn't be using square brackets over here like in begin document, curly brackets in every like begin you usually use curly brackets. And let me just go back here. So yeah, like as you'll see here, use package, we have square brackets here to define the elements, and then for the package that we have to download we have curly brackets. So this again sort of syntax,
okay.
like if I interchanged it, it would not work. So yeah, the package has to be in curly brackets here,
Okay.
and the elements or the definitive terms in square brackets. So yeah, the syntax, honestly.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
yeah.
And
Okay,
can you
and one more
possibly
thing I
share
wanted
the?
to
Yeah, yeah.
And one more thing I wanted to ask was that could you also teach how to make tables? Because as a researcher in psychology, making tables is the more main aspect which I want to do.
Yeah. And yeah, like table was one of the main topics because I won't be teaching you how to code the tables, but I have a shortcut for you guys. Like for tables specifically, like it'll really help you. Like you won't have to
Yeah, I
waste time.
just want to know how to make tables. And I just had one more concern. Can you make tables on R?
Um,
LaTeX tables on R?
I'm not that familiar with R. I'm more familiar with LaTeX, like in this particular domain. So yeah.
Okay, just the tables because when we submit manuscripts for like papers in psychology, they don't necessarily you don't necessarily have to write it in LaTeX,
Yeah.
but the tables usually are should be in LaTeX because it's more neat and clean.
Yeah, yeah, I'll teach you the main components. Like, for example, I have a list here: headings, paragraphs, enumerate. Enumerate is basically like bullet points, right, in different forms, and then how to add images, equations, and tables. Tables, like again, like coding tables takes some time because there's a lot, like syntax is long. That's why I'll tell you guys a shortcut. Like, you won't have to use any coding for that. So I'll just let you guys know.
Just sorry to interrupt here, but just so that I make it clear for everyone, LaTeX is not exactly a programming language, or you can't really do computations or calculations in LaTeX. LaTeX is basically a substitute for Word, right? You cannot calculate like how when you're running a Python script or some or an R script where you're doing statistical calculations and something like that. You cannot do that in LaTeX. LaTeX is just
Okay,
basically there for you to write your document out in a formal manner, and everything like in when you're writing a document in Word and everything, where you have to format your document in different ways, right? You have to make the header size this much, or like the text size this much, or insert the image here and that. The benefit of using LaTeX here is it will automatically type script for you. Basically, everything will be in place accordingly. It'll be neat and clean. You wouldn't have to basically manually place the image or text in a specific place. That's the benefit of using LaTeX. You cannot do any calculations in LaTeX. Let me just make that clear once more. It is basically a substitute for Microsoft Word.
okay, okay. Thank you so much for clearing that up, Aksunya.
Yeah.
One thing was that I feel it like these journals when you submit manuscripts to them for publishing, which I've done quite a few times.
Mhm.
So they use LaTeX to
Yeah.
format those documents from
Yeah,
Word.
so sorry to interrupt you there, but LaTeX is basically the gold standard when it comes to any form of scientific journaling. So it might be physics or math or computer science, psychology, anything. Almost everybody writes their formal paper up. Maybe you're doing a journal submission, you're submitting an article here or there, or even if you're putting it up on archive. If many of you will be familiar with that. You'll see all of the documents look very similar in the formatting. This is because everybody uses uses LaTeX for formatting their document. It is the gold standard in every journal publication. In fact, if you look at many of the journals and you look at their submission criteria, you'll find that they say that your document must be formatted in LaTeX. So this
No,
is
no, no,
the
no, no. I've seen that they accept both LaTeX and Word document.
sure they
So,
do. I'm not saying all journals do. I'm saying most journals do.
Like the
Some
most
so when
like
you create a LaTeX document, does it come out in a PDF format or it comes out in a Word format? It must come
uh,
out.
it comes
depends,
no, it
like
comes out in yeah.
so,
I am go ahead,
like
sorry.
for example, like yeah, some journals do accept Word document, but if you're planning to submit to a like really repetitive journal, they'll usually ask for a LaTeX code as well along with the PDF. Why? Because it sort of authenticates that okay, you have written this document, right? And they can like more easily check the plagiarism in your code and things like that as well.
Oh,
So yeah,
okay.
there's
So the code would make it more legit, so that they can
yeah.
see that key that you have done the code. So, so like you've written this document, and if I had to take out the document, would it be in a PDF or a Word format? It would be in a PDF format, right?
PDF, yeah, PDF. Like the Word
Okay,
wouldn't even be able to
but
handle this
my
level.
thing is, my question is, manuscripts don't accept PDF formats; they accept Word formats only. So, because I don't know, because in my experience, manuscripts accept Word format. So if I do make a LaTeX, it will be in a PDF, and they generally don't because they have to fit it according to their journal when they publish it.
No,
So what
like
do you have to say on this?
yeah, that could be for some journals, but the more repetitive ones, they often. Okay, let me just show you right now itself. This is for tomorrow's workshop, but I'll get to it. Let me go back. Um, so which one? This one. So let me just search M MNRAS template Overleaf. Overleaf, as I said, like online version, like a much better version of like
You
LaTeX.
can look at the submission guidelines of any like if any journal. Like for example, you can look at the submission guidelines of Lancet. So for Lancet, you can check do they accept. They might accept LaTeX, but I don't think they accept PDF formats. That's what I meant. And LaTeX, I think, does not produce Word format, as you said.
Yeah, you have
Uh,
to submit the code, right? You can submit the code as well. Like for
you
example,
can submit the code. Okay,
yeah,
okay, the code.
if I
Okay.
go to the
Okay.
LaTeX over here, open. If I go here, so this is basically my LaTeX folder. So every document that I type or I save gets saved here automatically, right? So as you'll see here, now when you save a LaTeX document, it gets saved in multiple formats, right? So it gets saved in a PDF, it gets saved like as a syntax file, and it also gets saved, and this is the main one, this is the code part, the text studio logo, as you might have seen. So if I click that, this opens up, the code opens up, right? So you usually have to submit the code part, not the PDF, because obviously like they'll have to make some changes in the like for example like journal number,
Yeah.
like publication number, things like that, right? So that's why
Thanks
they
for clearing. Thanks for clearing that.
yeah. If I can go here, um, it's not currently loading, but basically like there's an option in Overleaf to sort of submit to journals directly as well from your account, right? You don't really have to like do a lot of here and there, you can directly share it. So that's why like Overleaf is like much more important, but the text studio I would say is sort of like a way to it, like stairs towards Overleaf. So I think we should do this first, and that's why tomorrow we'll do Overleaf in much more detail. So yeah, all right.
Also, I just wanted to ask one question. In your quantum field manuscript, you haven't used the title command or title function for your titling of quantum field theory and your name and such.
Yeah.
But still it looks like a title. How did you achieve that? Could you explain those commands also a bit?
Yeah, this entire thing. It's a little longer, obviously, but I wanted each like I want each space to be like perfect. So that's why like I do a little extra for this. So for example, right? So I'll see first thing, everything's in center. So for that, what you need is begin center and center. So your entire this entire code for this entire thing should be in the center section. So the entire thing will be in the center. That's the first thing. Now the font size. Now if I can go to the cheat sheet, yeah, as you'll see here, everything is like here in the summary, right? So we have for bold, italics, but then you can use the button for that. But for sizes, we have large, like with capital L, all capital, then huge, huge. So as you'll see, like depending on each like command, the font size changes, right? Now if I go back, right here, you'll see I've used huge,
Can
large.
you possibly share the outline of the quantum field theory of the one you have made on this particular code so that we can even do it in software and understand it, like some kind of hands-on? Because you're just explaining also, but the same, if I could do it on my software also, it would be helpful, what I thought. Like, I am just grasping it. But if you could possibly share this outline or any other outline, similar one.
Yeah, all the outlines, all the links, everything will be shared in a txt file with you. So that's nothing to worry about.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And alright, so I've used huge, large. So as you'll see, like huge was the largest like out of the all like commands, except when we have like all caps huge. So as you'll see, quantum field theory is the largest, then we have all caps large, my name, and then we have all small large, right? So it's relatively smaller. So just like that is the size. So we have discussed two things, center and then size. Now I wanted a few things to be bold. So for that, again, what I've done is you can use the button or anything. So I've just used like backslash text bf, or you can just like select select this word and just click the B button, which is for bold, right? So it just becomes bold automatically. Now the spacing, as you'll see, there's a lot of space between quantum field theory and my name. We have used here big skip, but let me just go before that. So we have double backslash. This is for going to the next line. That this will be obviously very useful, right? So this is for going to the next line, double backslash in. Then we add a function. If I'll just put a space, backslash big skip. Now we have big skip, medium skip, which is mid skip, and small skip as well. So each of that sort of like varies the distance between the line and the next line below it. So we have big skip, mid skip, and things like that. But also we can use a separate thing, as I said, right, you might have remembered, right? V space, vertical space, and I can enter any amount of like how much of a length I want, and it'll like just vary the length accordingly. So we can do that as well. And yeah, and the third part will be how do they get the line here, right? Like below the sort of title, and that is done by the H rule fill, H rule, horizontal rule, fill the entire width of the page basically. And then you can like have more skips, and basically there's a different format to include images in Overleaf, which I'll come to tomorrow, and include in LaTeX. So LaTeX I don't use much these days. I use only for assignments and smaller things. For writing research papers or writing research reports, I use Overleaf. So that like the syntax for it is, so this is also included in the syntax, right? Graphics path, and then paste the like this right here, images, this just copy paste this is your address. And this also begs another information that like it is better to have all the images that you're going to add to your document in a single folder, so that you can directly address the folder here, and all the images which you'll be using are in this folder. So just like you can directly use it, there won't be any issue. And so yeah, if I come back here, if I have include graphics, scale 1.3, which scales the image, magnifies or like makes it smaller, and again square brackets here. So the descriptive terms, the scale or the size of it is in square brackets again, and the package in our previous example or the image that we are referring to is in curly brackets over here. So again, the difference between square and curly brackets, you can say.
I'm having a question, please wait.
Sorry.
I want to ask one question कि जो ये हमारा image path है, it should be in the same folder जिसमें हमारे text folder को हम save करेंगे. ऐसा कुछ necessary condition होता है इसके साथ associated?
Not the text folder. The text folder could be saved in any other. like folder, but the images like this.
But here we had to mention all that in which folder these all images have been stored.
uh, yeah, like for example, as I said, right, for this folder this is the address, right? We just copy that. And graphics path, what is the path to your images? Basically it's saying is this. I just paste it over here. So this is where we sort of tell LaTeX software that okay, all the images that you have to put in this document are in this particular folder. So look here, that's it. That's the sort of syntax for it.
Okay, thank you.
Then how do you order those images?
Order in the
Like
sense,
like the images which are in the file, they are unordered. कि आपको paper में किस order में उन images को रखना है?
okay, yeah, that is simple, right? Like for example, I'm putting the include graphics. This is for putting an image. Include graphics function over here, and I've here put the name of the image with the file type as well, group.png. So if I go
Okay.
back, group.png right here.
Okay.
So
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
yeah,
Got it.
yeah. And then I've just put a paragraph. So this entire paragraph is there. So now again, text IT is for italics. I'll see the word model here is in italics, and I can put bold, underline, and things like that. And right here I've put a section. Again, there's no number over here because I've put a star, right? So there's a section here. So this is why like it's a little more organized, right? So image, paragraph, and multiple sections. Now again, now if I have the same thing here, include graphics, and I can have the same thing here, right? Scale and then PNG, same file name here. I can add it, things like that. And yeah, the equations I'll come to in the next document. We'll basically be reviewing 3 documents. This is the second one, and yeah, now I'll come to the table and things like that. So basically, let me first come to the enumerate, right? So enumerate is of 2 types, right? Like bullet points, you can have of 2 types. One is again section, begin itemize, which is sort of done for usually for like squares or like bullet points and things like that, a little more graphic side to it. And I can change it in this as well, but usually like if I just remove it and let it run, this is the by default, this is the one dot, that's it. And for enumerate, again I can change it, but let me just remove it to see the default right here. The default numerate, right? So it's numbers, or you can have letters as well, as I'll show you later. So in itemize we have sort of figures like bullet points, but in enumerate we have numbers 1 2 3 4. And I can also have it in Roman and like Arabic, and like the syntax is basically available here, and also in the cheat sheet it's available there. And so yeah, like if you change it, it can become A B C D instead. And yeah, that just depends. And so now you have a section, right? Enumerate section. Now to separate each element, okay, you need this function item. So each item 1 is this particular line, data assignments equals more marks. Item 2 is research writing, fantastic CV, and things like that. So that's how you basically do the enumerate thing. Now coming to tables, now the syntax is like pretty long. Let me just show you the syntax first.
So have you sent this syntax with the file?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Have you included this syntax in the file which you're going to give to us?
No, I have not included in the file because I'll be telling you a shortcut for which you won't need syntax. You'll be able to
I
do
think
it like.
I think could you send this syntax, because this will be helpful.
Okay, sure. I'll add it. I'll send it to you in the next group because we already have the file compiled. So I'll do it in the next class, next workshop. So
Yeah, please do that, because I feel that the syntax is very important.
yeah, well, you won't need it. Like I'll show you. So basically, this is the syntax a lot: merge column, multi-column, things like that. So an alternative to that is simply this: just go on Google, search LaTeX table generator. That's it, and you'll get something like this, right? Now I can edit it like Microsoft Word simply. Like let me just say like welcome to, I don't know, and just some random text. That's it. And now currently this has no borders. Now let me just add borders. I click this and I can select which border do I want to show, right? Let me just make like a T shape, because why not? just like this basically, right? And I've left some elements empty as well. So now if I just click generate, it generates the code of the table for me. All I have to do, copy paste it, that's it. And another thing, let me just, if I go back here, just a second, right, if I go back here, let me just make it bold, let me just underline and make it italics, and all of these, let me center it. We have done a lot here, which if we did be using syntax, would have used a lot of commands. Like let me just generate it even. So as you'll see, like pretty, looks a little complicated, right? So let me just copy this code and just paste it.
But for writing a paper, we would need the syntax, right?
Yeah, but this is giving you the syntax, right? Just copy paste it.
No. This is for making a table. I'm saying that if I write a paper, any paper, I would need to know the syntax.
Why? Like you have something that generates the code for you, right? The syntax for you. Like obviously,
But
it's
this
better
is
to
a
know the
table.
syntax.
This is a table. I'm talking about the paper. Like if I have data with me and if I've written a paper, I would need some knowledge about the syntax so I can write it on the LaTeX Studio.
Yeah, like it's better to know the table syntax, but that's what I'm saying. This is the syntax, right? Like all I have to do is just paste it, and now it'll show an error. Just a second. It should show an error. If I, alright. Okay, I have already added the basically two packages basically. So sometimes you'll note an error, but that is because you haven't added a package needed, and this package will be suggested to you as well. Like this does the entire thing, compare related to tables for you. You do not need to like basically type anything when it comes to tables. Like if you have any data, for example, enter it here like Microsoft Word, and then click generate, and it generates it for you basically. I've typed I don't know here, I don't know it's in the code, simply like that. And I go back and let me just type that shit. Right, now it is showing the error, right? So that's why we have to add a few packages which it has recommended, and then the error will be like removed basically. But as you can see here, if I zoom it in, right here, this is the table I wanted, this is the table I got without really typing the syntax. I used a software, online software.
Daddy, you got the table without the syntax, but I'll need a syntax for writing the paper. I'm talking about if I want to write the paper, I need to know the syntax. That's why this standard document will be helpful to us.
Didn't we talk about it already? I already said we'll share the document, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so that is the document.
I have a
If share
question.
even this also, it would be helpful. Okay, if you
Yeah,
share the whole quantum field theory one in text file.
definitely. Yeah, I will be.
Thank you.
Someone else was heard out, I think.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I was
just
asking, what are the entities that require begin and end?
What are the entities that require?
Begin and end to be specified.
Okay. Like again comes to the syntax, but like things where you want to, let's say, group things. Okay, I'll come to equations, but like for example, I had explained here, right? I want this entire thing to be in the center, so I can create a section whatever I put inside it, whatever text I put will be at the center, right? So it's sort of for grouping things in a way, like grouping the sections. So things like if you want to center the thing or the document itself, obviously you'll need begin document, end document, and yeah, things like that require like begin function. Like I think like many of you are like sort of confusing again, like as I think one of the members Akchunya had said, you're confusing it with a little bit of like coding. This has less logic than coding, like to be honest, like to be frank, this has less logic. Like you have to sort of like get to know the
Yeah. I got it. But still, we'll have to copy paste from somewhere, na, to make a paper. So for that syntax is needed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That initially, yes, you will have to do a little bit of copy pasting, and for example, you'll face a few like problems as well. You can like literally search on Google, and I'm pretty sure like you'll find the answer to it. if I remember right, um, a website called Text Tax or something like that, right? Like sort of a forum in a way. It has all the like answers to all your questions. Just search it on Google and it'll like answer it. So initially, yes, you have to do a little bit of searching, copy pasting, yes, but that is a much faster way. Like trust me, that is a much faster way of learning than sitting and like memorizing the cheat sheet. Like even now, you must have like had an idea, right? Like I'm telling you the functions, but at the end of it, you won't remember half of it, probably, right? Like the exact code, exact syntax if I'm talking about. So that is why like sort of like learning by repetition. This is in a way. So search initially, like this is how you learn sort of when it comes to like logicless things like this, like yeah, you just have to like copy paste in the starting. And I think I like from my personal experience, I did the copy paste thing for about months, like 3 months I would say. And
How long have you been doing? How long have you been working with the LaTeX or the LaTeX Studio?
around 2 to 2.5 years I believe. Yeah. And so yeah, like as I was saying, like initially for like two months I had to like do like a lot of like searching for doubts and like copy paste a little bit. But then here's the thing, like for example, like there are thousands of functions. Point is, you're not going to use most of them. What I'm telling you are the like sort of mainstream functions that we'll be using in most of things. For example, adding image, right? Obviously, like in your research paper, things like that, you will be adding images. So like when you use this function, like even in this particular document, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6, 7. So 7 times I've added an image. So if I sort of do that in repetition, just by this particular document itself, like I sort of have like in a way memorize the syntax for including an image, right? So just like that, you have to do a little bit of repetition in the beginning. But yeah, like I agree, like
Using this, using LaTeX, how many papers have you published like until now? And in
uh,
which journals?
I haven't published a paper, but I have written around I've mainly written project reports, around 5 5 12 research reports, which are around 25 to 30 pages each. And research papers I've written about 3. And obviously things like essays and all are also there on the side.
Oh, these would be for college
Yeah, these
college
are for
course.
college. Like right now we are focusing on assignments, latex and assignments. This is a like heading, right, for today's workshop. So assignments. Tomorrow we'll be
So,
talking about
for
research.
example, like I have some data and I want to publish in a high impact journal,
Okay.
and I'm using LaTeX. So, would LaTeX make a very good impression? Like,
Uh,
because
in the for the journal,
yeah,
I think like there is not much of an impression to talk about in a journal, because journals that like really appreciate LaTeX will ask you have to submit LaTeX. You cannot submit PDF, Word, or anything. Not even Word. Like you cannot submit it. So you have to submit the code. And there are obviously like I personally haven't come across journals that like ask for only Word and not the code. But I
yeah,
believe like there must be some.
I
But
have come across the journals which ask for both LaTeX and Word. Majority of them, they just accept both.
hmm, could be like yeah, like there are like many like journals. We have to be careful. Some of them are even fake. And but yeah, like
I know.
we should.
I made sure to like avoid having like submitting my work to predatory journals
Yeah.
because I do see that. But yeah, I just go for peer review journals. So
Hmm.
those places are the ones which I feel. There are some very good Indian journals which are peer reviewed. So
Yeah.
I'm grateful I never sent my work to a predatory.
Yeah. Yeah. Like PrettyJournal.com or something like that. That's the site you use, and make sure the
Yeah,
journal is like
yeah. I
scrupulous.
actually identified one or two journals which I was going to send my work to,
Yeah.
but I didn't because they ask for so much money. See, like if you're publishing or if you're submitting open access papers to like an average impact factor journal,
Yeah.
so that would be understandable because you're paying money because it's open access.
Yeah.
Because generally it's either a hybrid format or a closed access.
Hmm. Yeah. Most of the predatory ones are like open, in fact. But I think the
Open
main
access And
The main like
I have
distinguishing factor would be like the time they take to accept your paper to the journal. Like many journals are like, okay, we accept paper in like 1 or 2 months, and you have to pay this much. Those are usually the predatory ones. Like they basically make you in a hurry. Like, okay, we accept the paper fast, like send, send, send. So yeah, those are the ones like usually you have to be beware of. But yeah.
yeah. I did publish a journal which is open in a journal which is open access.
Yeah.
I did pay an amount, but that journal was not predatory because it was peer reviewed.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it was paid because it was open access.
Hmm.
Closed access journals generally are more competitive and they
Yeah.
don't display the whole content because people have to subscribe to the journal
Yeah.
to get the content.
Yeah. Yeah. True. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Between Text Studio and TextMaker, which would you recommend?
Sorry. With
The Text Studio and TextMaker. You can use LaTeX on any two of these, right?
um, I have tried using in Text Maker, but I didn't really find it that friendly. Like for me, like Text Studio is the best one out there for an offline LaTeX software. And obviously, you have to download mic text on the side as well. So yeah. And all right, so let's just get back
So,
to. Sorry.
just a simple question I had. Considering the user packages that are required for many of the functions in your thesis paper that I could see, how did you realize which packages are important and need to be implemented? Is it like a trial and error thing, or do you have certain error messages that help out?
No, like on Overleaf they do, which I'll come to tomorrow. But on LaTeX they don't really tell you the exact package. Sometimes they do, but sometimes there's like here itself there are like more than 10 packages, and this is like a very basic document compared to like what you can make in from LaTeX. So like there are a lot of like packages, and they don't necessarily recommend like show it in the error every time. But yeah, like for that you will have to probably search again. Like let's just say GraphicsX, right? It's a simple one. Like again, like GraphicsX, I don't need to search every time because again, I have added images again and again, so I'm used to it. I know the package is GraphicsX. I have to add it every time I need an image, which is almost all the time. So even sometimes in documents when I don't use an image, I just put the package like, because why not? So like for example, I'm making another document, right? And I know like the basic format will be this header and like adding images and things like that. What I can do is just copy from my old file, paste it on the new file, and then paste like do the code. You might find like some missing extra packages that you didn't know or consider. Search on Google the website, like it'll tell you directly. Like the first result on Google is that website itself. It's very convenient, like no need to worry about it, so you'll get to know automatically. So
And just give me one moment, yeah. So if you guys just check out the chat link, I've sent a link. You guys can open that out. So it's basically a reference website, like it's Overleaf itself, but it's like a reference page at Overleaf. And if you look at the left-hand side of the website, as you keep scrolling down, you'll see there are there means it's made as a reference for all different types of features you might require in LaTeX. As you can see, it's for mathematics and adding tables and adding images and all those things. You can use this, and you can also see at the start there's the LaTeX basic part. So whenever if you're confused after this talk, just want as a quick refresher as well, you can check out the website and you can basically just see how to structure a document and what packages are required for what different features or what different parts of whatever like you require, right? So images or tables or whatever, you can take a look at that website and you can use that as a reference. You don't need to read the entire thing or go through. That's stupid. Don't do that. It's basically whatever you require. Let's say you want a table or you want a graphic or something, just look it up at the website. There's a link for you how to check it out. Just look at it, look at the syntax, copy it into your document, and just keep going forward. Yeah. So thanks.
yeah, exactly. That's the thing, right? It's stupid to read the whole thing, and that's why I don't memorize the cheat sheet. Search as you want to use. That's it, and you'll learn accordingly. There's nothing to worry about. It's fine. And now
Also, I have to ask something. Do you have to literally download every package, or do a few packages come pre-installed with the
all right, yeah.
software? Like,
I had told, I think in the starting step, right? MikeText. What is the use of MikeText? Basically, it's a package installer. So what it does is, like, if I don't have MikeText, like just adding the package here won't be enough, right? It has to download the package, and for that we use MikeText. And what MikeText does is, every time we enter a package here, it's sort of integrated with Text Studio, all right? When you download it, and so when I enter a package here, as you'll notice, as you put your first LaTeX document, that like, all right now if I just run it, it'll run relatively quick, right? Like, that's it, like a few seconds, a couple of seconds, right? But if I'm adding a new package, it'll load for longer. And now, common sense, that is because it is downloading the new package. So yeah, MikeText automatically downloads the packages. All you have to do is mention the name over here, / use package, like that, and just write it. That's it. And yeah, and right here we have another syntax for, sorry, did someone say something? All right.
no, please go on. Please go on. No, please.
Okay. So, all right, we have another syntax for image as well. This is used in Overleaf. We can also use it in LaTeX, but that was the shorter form of it, right? So, what is this like format basically? Again, begin figure, end figure. That's your section. Now, I want the image to be in the center. So, what I can do is \centering, and it centers the image basically. Then again, the same command as before. The include graphics, and then the square bracket defines the dimensions and things like that, the properties. The curly bracket defines the image itself, the name of the image. Over here I've used, for example, the SARSTEM logo, right? So sarstem.png saved in the folder. So that is the image name, and in this we have the dimensions. So there are two ways of doing it. I usually use this particular method. Width equals whatever number \text width. Text width is basically this length, if you can see my cursor, like the text from where to where is it spanning in the like A4 size paper basically. And if you see 0.3, so if you notice, the width of the image is about like 1/3 of the width of the entire like text, right? So that's because it's a 0.3 sort of into the text width basically. That is the format. And if I do like, let's say 1, it should cover about like the entire like width. All right, see, 1 second. Yeah, it covered the entire width. So what factor of the entire width, basically, that is the format here. So let me just go back to 0.3. all right, now obviously sometimes in images you will, like, definitely in research papers, need like captions. So for that you can use the \caption, very simple name, \caption, curly brackets, and what do you want as the caption. And for here I've just put the full form of SARSTEM, Society for Academic Research in STEM, and as you can see it is displayed over here, right here. And label, this I'll come to tomorrow. Like, it's better to talking about it on Overleaf, but you can do without it as well. It'll work the same. And another thing, just for LaTeX, I can right click this. Let's say, no, actually I go up, I right click it, and I say go to PDF. So it goes to the same place, like the code I've clicked at, Einstein initially included. So it should have it somewhere around, just a second, let me just click here, go to PDF, right, it showed highlighted in yellow, right, Einstein initially included. So I can go to the PDF, and I can also do it vice versa, the expression known as. So if I go back, it goes to the code, this expression is known as. So that is the result for this document. And one side note I would have is, don't always use LaTeX. Like, some, like, alright, like you might learn LaTeX, like, oh, I just learned LaTeX, you might be excited, let me use it, let me impress my professor, but sometimes it's not really that worth it, because, alright, this was, for example, one assignment, right? So blah blah blah, this is the normal length of the assignment.
I think what I understand is LaTeX is not necessary all the time, because the Word can do all the things, and you just need to make a table and you can use LaTeX for that. You can copy the table from LaTeX and put it in Word.
Yeah, but you'll need it
Yeah.
for like typing equations fast and the other few things like that. It's much more customizable basically. And
Actually, the reason I wanted to learn LaTeX was because all the tables I saw through statistics and through research statistics and psychology, they used LaTeX. So I wanted to learn LaTeX for that reason. I honestly was not into the idea that the whole paper would be in LaTeX because usually we work with Word documents. But
yeah,
yeah, LaTeX needs to be used in context, like not all the time.
yeah, but yeah, we have like the whole thing as well. In the third workshop, I'll be telling you a shortcut in which you can convert Word into LaTeX code automatically. I'll be telling you guys in third workshop, and yeah, I think we should go like line by line, one by one. So, all right. So as you can see, a lot of equations. This is the normal length. Now I'll just scroll through the code, right? It looks horrific. Like this is a lot, right? And it takes time. It takes some time, and you have to do a lot of like copy pasting and this and that. So it might take some time. So my point is like unless the professor has told you, all right, like you have to submit the what do you say, like document in code, which in India usually professors won't unless you're in master's or PhD. Yeah, like it's not necessary. Sometimes it's faster to write it by hand, right? Or like by word if you have very few like equations, let's say. So yeah, don't always use the LaTeX. That's all I would say for that. And I think that's it for the demo. I'll be sharing all the like links with you guys. And so yeah, like the links will basically the links are linked to this, right? So we have, I'll let you know what cheat sheets do we have. So we have a general cheat sheet, basics, document structure, formatting pages, things like that, tables and this, all that. If you want to use math, right here, we have a cheat sheet specific for math, right here, backslash alpha and this and that, things like that, right? And we also have a symbol. This is a relatively longer document, right here. And yeah, if I can go back. All right. So one last thing, one small topic is the equations, right? Actually, let me go right here. All right. So yeah, you can sort of enter the equation in three ways, three main ways, right? One is if you have a single line and you don't necessarily want to center it or numerate it, right? What you can do is just dollar sign. Again, this is also like a encapsulating function in a way, section. So you need to have $2 starting and end, and whatever the equation is, you enter at the center. And that's just a simple one. Right here. So yeah, as you'll see here, e to the power x, right? It is left, it's not centered and things like that, right? But if you see just above it, we have this particular syntax, double dollar, like starting with $2, ending with $2, and in the center we have the sort of equation, and this sort of centers it, right? And there is also another way, backs. Now this uses begin equation e to the power x, and just right here. But with this, the thing is, it enumerates the equation basically. Oftentimes in research papers you'll have to refer to like, let me just give you an example instead, really quickly. All right, contrast. Let me open this. Right. So if I zoom in here, this is like a basic research format, paper format. So let's say I have this particular mathematical equation that I want to refer to. There are constraints in blah blah blah, and our mathematical model, the equations are denoted by this. So now oftentimes you don't want to clutter your research paper, so you don't have to mention the equation every time. So have the equation in one place, have it numerated and link it, which I'll teach tomorrow. So basically if I just click one, it takes me to the equation basically, using the another sort of package we'll be discussing tomorrow. And for that you need it to be enumerated basically. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah,
And what about the symbol?
What about the
Symbol.
which symbol?
Like if you're writing an equation, it has symbols, right? Like psi in Schrodinger's equation.
Okay. Yeah. Right here. Again, no logic, just syntax, unfortunately, right here, like alpha, beta, things like that. And just make sure you, like, let me just give you an example. If I say, like, backslash beta, it might enter it as text. So it is important to first have the dollar sign or the begin and end equation, and then do, let's say, let me just do it, backslash alpha equals backslash beta. Right here. So if you can see, alpha is equal to beta. So every like Greek letter or anything else except English or like basic numbers is sort of like function in a way, you can say. So you have to put backslash before it. And usually the names are simple. Alpha is alpha, beta is beta, gamma is gamma, capital gamma is with capital G gamma, things like that. It's relatively simple. And yeah, and also in mathematical equations, if suppose I want superscript and subscript, same thing, upward arrow x and downward arrow x. Let me just run it again. Right, now I have a superscript and subscript basically in the equation itself. Suppose I type x2 3, for example. The 2 3 won't appear in the superscript, sorry. It'll appear as a separate text, as you'll see here. So again, you have to put curly brackets to encapsulate what you're putting as a superscript. So I put the upper arrow sign. Now I'll put starting curly bracket and whatever I need to be up, x2 3. Now I'll close the curly bracket and let me just run it. Now it should go up. Right, done. Now it's up, right? So if you have more than one character that you want to be in the superscript or subscript, you have to use curly brackets basically. And yeah, that's about it about equations as well. And yes, there are much more complicated equations such as this one. Will require more syntax definitely, for which you'll use the cheat sheet. That's it. So yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
One small thing. In the equation column, when you wrote begin equation, end equation, is there a command so that every equation is not marked? Like when you started the equations column, you wrote alpha equals to beta, and then in the PDF format, it has marked as equation number 1.
Okay. Yeah.
You can see. Is there any way to not have that happen?
Yeah, you can either use the double dollar sign, like for example this is in double dollar, it is automatically centered. We haven't used any centered function here. As you can see, it is centered without any like number basically. And let me just try this. Right here we can also do this begin equation. All you have to do is add a star at the end of the equation basically. The star, if we remember, even in the like section we had, right? Like if I run this, I can see the number on the section 1, hello world. But if I put a star over here, it hides the number, right here, and it has the exact same function over here as well. Star hides the number over here of the equation basically. So you can do either both ways, but I usually use begin equation.
Yeah, and is there a way to skip to a new line while you're in math mode? That is, while you're under the double dollar sign.
There is like there definitely is, but that'll require like more packages. So you can either like install that and you can like use that package, and again you'll have to use a function at the end of each sort of equation, or you can just like sort of like in a way. 1 second.
So if you have to write a string of equations like a derivation of some sort, then it's better to use an equation than using the double dollar sign.
Yeah, definitely. And oftentimes the sort of the reason why like I usually separate it is oftentimes oftentimes I'll want to number the equations. Like over here I haven't, because it's a normal essay sort of. But in research papers or things like that, research reports, oftentimes you have to like sort of enumerate it. And oftentimes if you write a set of equations under one like begin equation, like it sort of combines it into one equation in a way, And so if for example I click as I showed, like I click and it goes to the equation. If I click that, it will go to the entire set. Basically it'll refer to the entire set, and I basically want to refer to just one equation, right? So just because of that, usually I use separately. But yeah, up to you. There's a lot of ways you can do a single thing as well, and yeah, there's a lot of like syntax options.
And so technically, what will be the difference between this double dollar sign, that is max mode, and begin and equation?
Okay, yeah, like the same thing that I mentioned, right? The first thing that you'll notice is the spacing between the equations will be less. They'll feel a little compact when you use that. And the second thing, as I said, it clubs it together, the set of equations into one sort of equation, and it numerates it in a way, basically. Like the entire set of equations will be equation one, and yeah, that's it.
Oh, okay. Thanks. And is there a way to just enumerate only one particular equation in this equation, begin and equation part?
One particular equation.
Like you have a list of equations and derivation, but if there's a 1 second step that you will need to refer to later, you usually enumerate that one particular equation, right? So
Yeah.
how do we do that?
Yeah, same thing, like the one that I want to like, that's why I do it separately, right? This equation, suppose I want to numerate, or link I'll come to tomorrow, but let's say numerate, right? So all I do is like remove the star. Just a second. I remove the star, and yeah. So now e to the power x is not numerated. This is not numerated. 325 is not numerated. The only equation that is numerated is begin equation, basically the sort of like section. That's it. And star removes it. That's how I do it. So it's better to keep them sort of separate in a way. And oftentimes, like just a second.
Hello, Ayan.
Yeah, just a second. Basically, in like research papers, you'll often see like you won't usually like in research papers see a set of length equations, right? 10 lines of equations at once. Like usually, you'll see the author like skip through steps because they don't want their research paper to be like 20 pages long. So they skip through the derivation steps and things like that. And what they do is they write in between, and they explain the sort of what they have done to achieve the previous equation or the next equation, depending. Like for example, here we have a set of variables and we have written where we have used blah blah blah, right? So they don't write the entire derivation down, they just write the main equations down, main changes in the equations, and they describe it. So it's equation word, usually in that format. So yeah, someone was asking a question.
Hi, Ayan. Apart from this LaTeX part, I wanted to ask a question about the SARSTEM and fellowship programs. Like, I'm a mechanical engineering student, so is there any scope for me in the research field of SARSTEM?
Like, okay, let me show you guys just a second. So this is SARSTEM's website, and so obviously the fellowship, right, you're talking about. So you have to apply to the fellowship, right? You have to apply, and you have to be selected basically, and based on your profile and many other factors. And you apply using a Google form, and basically it's a 8-week long program, but you can extend it based on your research project as well if you feel you can take this further. And obviously, like oftentimes, like most of the time, like research takes more than 2 months. Sorry, 2 months, right? So like it's like they offer like free extension as well for the research project. And so yeah, it's starting on June 5th, and the application deadline I believe is May 30 for this group. Okay, so your question, right? Mechanical. Yes, mechanical engineering is there, as you'll see here. So I think mainly 12 fields, right? Astrophysics, aerospace, and things like that. But I don't think all are being offered right now. As far as I'm aware, for this group, aerospace, astrophysics, and biology, yeah, these three are being offered right now. But like later on, they plan to include other fields as well: chemistry, computer science, things like that. So unfortunately, like for this batch, for the summer batch, like for this group from June 5 to July 21, mechanical is unavailable. But they'll probably try to like add more groups, like add more fields, I mean, into the next group. So basically, you can like check on July 17th. Obviously the URL will remain same, and but yeah, like you can still apply as well, like out of your own interest, and we'll contact you when the program is available as well. So yeah, and yeah, and also like
No,
sorry, go on.
yeah, also, I wanted to ask in the coming workshop about LaTeX only, will there be more information about like SARSTEM? Because right now you've given us a general idea, so about workshops and everything, if there's possible.
Yeah, yeah, basically, okay, I'll let you guys know now itself. So basically this is a paid program, right? But like I hope like it is visible. Let me just open the Meet for a second. um, I hope you guys can see this right here. And so if you go down right here, I've explained, right? Like if you enter this code, you'll get at least 75% scholarship on your application by default, right? When you apply, and you can get more depending on your profile, but 75 is minimum. And also what we are doing for this specific workshop is assignment based scholarship. Basically we'll be giving two students 100% scholarship for the program, for the SASTEM research program. And for that, all you have to do is basically submit an assignment, LaTeX assignment in a way. And this will be really, really helpful to you guys as well. This will be sort of like practice for you guys, right? So for example, assignment 1 is this. I've written it down, and you can convert it into LaTeX, right? So same thing, fancy header, right? I've explained the header thing. Make sure the heading is in bold, this is in italics, name university, put your university logo, the image. You can put a random blind text here, and then 2-column blind text. Have a table in this particular format, the borders, and it's pretty easy, right? Using this whatever border you want, like this part is pretty simple, right? And where it go? Right here, yeah. And then add 2 images here, university logo and blind text again. So in this exact particular format, try to do it, right? You'll learn a lot of things, like you'll have to search a little bit for packages, you'll have to use the cheat sheets, and this is how you learn by doing when it comes to LaTeX. So this assignment will not only help you get 100% scholarship, this will also help you in a way, like practice your LaTeX, right? And submission you have to do on, I believe, Sunday. So you have like 2 days to do it. And yeah, you have to submit it on Sunday via the Google form link, I believe will be shared with you guys. And when you submit, we'll like judge who has done the best, and two students will be getting 100% scholarship in the program basically. And this, I believe, as well is available. Is there anyone who cannot see the attachment by any chance? Just let me know. All right, I believe everyone can.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
On what basis judgment will be there?
sorry.
On what basis would be judgment? Would you judge
Okay,
our assignment?
yeah, yeah. So we have sort of like two levels. The first would obviously be to check the layout, right? Don't put the bold and italics. This is just to indicate the heading has to be in bold and this has to be in italics, right? Other than that, okay, so center, center, name university you put on your own, and the fancy header you have here down below as well, and university logo, this particular size of the image, like make sure the dimensions are exactly matching, right? As you'll see, this blind text does not expand in the entire width. This is the entire width, but this sort of like compact in a way, right? So find out how to do that. I haven't taught it in this workshop, so as I said, like I cannot, even in 3 days, 1 week, 1 month, I cannot take enough workshops to teach you all about LaTeX, right? So learn as you do basically, and search a little bit how do we have text a little more spaced out from the sides, and yeah, make sure it's formatted like that. Center a little spaced, this particular blind test, then 2-column blind text on the side, and table in this particular format. As you'll see, some borders are missing, right? But that's pretty easy to do. I have taught you everything with tables, and just do it like that. 2 images, so everything like just the basic layout, what matches to this best will be getting the scholarship. And if in case like many of you do like well in this, then we'll have to probably do like sort of like lucky draw sort of thing, like we'll have to randomize it unfortunately. But yeah, this is the particular format, and Okay. Okay, so whoever can't see them, you can enter your email in the chat basically, and we'll share it with you via email basically. And whoever can see, you can currently like download it from here as well. You can open it and you can download. So the first one is the links, and next class I'll be sharing the exact document links as well, about the workshop and basic links, about a couple of assignments that I showed you, and how to download tables, generator, cheat sheets, things like that. And you can download this document, and you can also download the assignment one, so which you can download. Try it on LaTeX. You'll really learn a lot if you try to do this. So I would really suggest you do this. So yeah. All right, we have a few
Also,
emails.
if you can send your quantum physics one in this email IDs.
Okay,
Yeah.
definitely. All right, so I'll share the quantum physics one. Actually, I'll share all three documents. Two of them I've already shared the link for, but I'll share all the three again, and I'll also share uh, the what was that? The assignment. I'll share all of it via email, basically. All
Yeah,
right.
you'll share the text studio file of that, right?
Yeah, I'll share it. So make sure you have Text Studio downloaded so you can open it.
Yeah, we have downloaded after yesterday.
Yeah.
So
Okay, awesome.
The assignments are for the people who want to sign up for the fellowship, right? Or is
Yeah.
it for everybody?
Yeah, no, whoever in like you can like again as I said, like you learn a lot if you do it for your own benefit, but submission of assignment is only for the people who are interested in like pursuing a summer research program basically. And I would assume like a lot of you are interested in research, so I thought this was a good opportunity to share it with you guys. So yeah.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So I hope everyone has entered their email, whoever can't see the attachment. Sorry, your voice got cut, I believe. I can't hear you. Your voice is muffled. I can't hear you. Maybe you can type in the chat box because I can't hear. Alright, so whoever has entered the email, that's about it from our side, and I'll see you tomorrow, right? Overleaf, research papers, and project reports. Can I use Overleaf? Sure, like the syntax is pretty much the same, so sure, you can use Overleaf as well. Yeah, definitely, no issues. No problem.
Do we have to download all the packages for Overleaf since Overleaf is an online thing, online website? So we don't have to download any package for Overleaf, right?
You have to, because it's not an issue of like online and offline. The issue is like, think from the computer's POV, right? Even in programming languages, like a basic set of commands are there. I don't know the commands. I need a book to know the commands. So you sort of tell Overleaf or LaTeX what book to refer to in order to learn that particular function in a way. So it's not about online offline. Like the Overleaf can't guess the what do you say, package all the time. Sometimes it can. It'll show you in the error. I'll like get to it tomorrow. But in general it can't. So you'll have to manually like search, get to know what the package is, and just add it basically.
Okay, so you will show how to add packages in Overleaf tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow?
Yeah. It's pretty much the same. Like there's no such adding or downloading. Just enter the name of the package basically. It down like you don't need make text or anything separate for Overleaf. It automatically downloads it into itself. You just have to mention the name. That's it.
Oh, okay. So I thought actually you had to download because I was thinking if these are like packages in like Python or something. Like, you have to separate the download sometimes.
No. That's separate. That's separate. Um, could you repeat what you said about fellowship or scholarship? Okay, so I'll just explain quickly. So basically, SARSTEM is holding a research fellowship program where students, especially undergraduates and master's students, mainly undergraduates, get to work on research projects basically in their field of interest. We have 12, but as of now, 3 are active. What you can do if your field isn't active, still apply for it, and SASTEM will probably contact you when it's active. They'll let you know, okay, it is active. Would you like to apply? And you can just say yes via email, and you can proceed further. So basically, in that program, it's not just a fellowship; it's a sort of program. There are two main components: the workshops and the research. So the research first, you get an opportunity to work on research projects. Now the workshops, there are more workshops, and those will be hosted by Indranil. He's a PhD student from University of Chicago in US, and he'll be hosting those workshops. So there are many workshops, including how to get authentic information using research papers. Don't use BuzzFeed.com, things like that, right? And a short session on Overleaf and LaTeX as well. Then on basically admission abroad in US and things like that, and basically many more. Also, how to build a research CV, how to apply for graduate admission, how to apply for other internships. It's a very it teaches you a lot about research basically. So you learn a lot using workshops, and you also work on research projects. So it's a whole package. It's a whole program basically. So I think it would really help undergraduates and like sort of beginners and who are planning to like work on projects. And yeah, we are soon also planning to have a workshop, another free workshop on I think graduate studies and research in the US. That will be hosted by Jay, who is a PhD student in machine learning from Arizona State University in US. Again, organized by SASTEM. And I think it is expected on Tuesday. When it will be confirmed, we'll let you know. So that's why make sure you follow SASTEM on LinkedIn. That's where they usually post all the updates about further workshops and the programs. So stay up to date. So yeah. Well, we are planning to give another work assignment tomorrow as well for Overleaf, but okay, we'll make it easier next time. We'll make it easier. It's fine. So yeah, I mean, it looks tough. I know, like I would have been intimidated as well, but it's really like do it. Like the harder the harder the document is, the more you'll learn with it. So definitely do it. It'll help a lot in the long term. So, so yeah, you'll have to submit 2 assignments at the end of Sunday, and the second one will be shorter than this. It won't be as tough. Don't worry. And yeah, that's about it. We'll share the form on Sunday for submission of assignment, and we'll let you know about the scholarships by Monday, I believe. So yeah. Oh, tougher one. Okay, we'll make it tougher. Don't worry. It's fine. I like the challenge to myself also. It's fine. We'll make a tougher assignment, 2 pages and much more complex. So it'll sort of set the space as well. Not a lot of people get it right. You're right. Yeah. Awesome. So that's it, I believe. If no other doubts are there, tomorrow we'll discuss about Oli. Okay, definitely, I'll assure. I like that you're ready to work hard. It's nice. Awesome. Alright, so that's about it. I'll be exiting the meeting. Goodbye.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.